For example, this project that I've just shown you, we had a first initial draft, and that was the most powerful concept, or so at least we thought. Boy, did this started to get distorted. This was the first thing they saw. The second thing they saw after they proposed their changes, and you can see that distortion and that immaculate harmony that we had in the beginning starting to lose it. And then you've just witnessed the involution of an image. So you can see all the way from that to where we ended up. Anyway, there are other projects which, for instance, this one, which I found curious, which went through like 40 odd revisions because they changed the architecture as well. And that initial strength of the idea and that continuity just really falls apart because you end up, that initial strength that you had just ends up falling into some segment of creativity that you could no longer piece together. So you've lost all the passion, they've lost the passion, and you just review what you need to review. But in addition to the project complexities gifted to us by clients, we also have to find the balance between technical skills and the conceptual idea we're trying to develop. I've always believed that the tools we use to shape our work also end up shaping us in some way or another. For example, the modeling tools I normally use are pretty straightforward, since the end goal is to achieve a certain simplicity in my own personal work. In that sense, the simpler the geometry, the better it is for me. I'm not necessarily interested in the complexity of the shape, but rather the complexity of its story. And the easier the form, the more intriguing the story becomes. I want to show you the simplicity of this initial render that later developed into the image. You can see it's devout from all that poetry and all that aesthetic beauty. And here we have the post-produced version. So the building itself could have been done with any modeling tool, but that's really irrelevant since the story of the image is not really about telling so much about the building per se, but rather a more familiar and humanistic approach to our relationship with landscape. That relationship is inspired by the works of Turner, Frederick, or even Hansen, which can only really be achieved through composition, lighting, and that balanced rhythm through the various elements. And of course, personally saying, and as you've guessed it, this can only really be achieved through post-production. And that's hence our motto, do it in post.